as we do every single year, I'm going to be doing my NBA playoff prediction. Denver and Minnesota will be a pretty fun series to look at, but at the end of the day, I think the Denver Nuggets, they're the number one seed, and it's pretty obvious that the Denver Nuggets are going to win this series, and I would say it'll win it in 5 or 6 games. The Minnesota Timberwolves are going to give them some fight at the end of the day, but I think Denver closes this one out pretty easily. Phoenix Suns versus LA Clippers would be interesting, but Paul George is probably out for the series, so the Phoenix Suns are going to win this series pretty convincingly in 5 games. Then the Golden State Warriors and Sacramento Kings is probably the best first round series in the NBA. This is very interesting series because the Sacramento Kings and the Golden State Warriors, they feel like the same type of team. I mean, the Sacramento Kings have the best offensive rating of all time. However, on the defensive side of the ball, I think it'll be very, very tough for Sacramento as they have to guard Stephen Curry. I think their X factor will be Davion Mitchell, but then again, Davion Mitchell is not that good offensively, so it might be tough to have him on the floor. So I think Golden State's gonna win this series. I think they just need to win one road game. They're pretty experienced, and although their road record is pretty bad, I think they can pull this series off against Sacramento because Sacramento's defense is not too good. I think it will be closer than what people think, though, because Andrew Wiggins is not going to be in full form. He's just coming back for the NBA playoffs. Then the Montes Sabonis is going to probably dominate them as he's had very good games against the Golden State Warriors in the regular season. But at the end of the day, I think the experience wins it. And so I got the Golden State Warriors in 7 games. Then Memphis versus the LA Lakers. I don't think we should overthink this series. Although the LA Lakers have LeBron James, they have Anthony Davis. The Memphis Grizzlies have Jaren Jackson Jr. and a guy like Xavier Tillman who can guard Anthony Davis. They're very good defenders. Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to be the Defensive Player of the Year. And at this point of his career, Anthony Davis is super inconsistent. So, for this series, I'm going to go with the Memphis Grizzlies. Plus, who's going to guard Ja Morant? I don't know, maybe Jared Vanderbilt? Which won't be a bad matchup, don't get me wrong, but I think Ja Morant will be amazing this series. Also, who's the third best player for the LA Lakers? Plus, how many good shooters do the LA Lakers have? Dennis Schroeder is 33% from 3 point range. Malik Beasley's had a slump. So, are they really the best at 3 point shooting? I think they're a little bit inconsistent at that. So, I got the Memphis Grizzlies in a tough 6 games. Then, Milwaukee versus Miami. Let's not overthink this. Milwaukee's already swept Miami before. Miami's terrible offensively. This is going to be a sweep. Then Cleveland versus the Knicks. I think Julius Randle will be put through hell in this series. I mean, Julius Randle, we've already seen how terrible he's been in the NBA playoffs. And I think when he's being guarded by Defensive Player of the Year candidate Evan Mobley, and he's being guarded by Jared Allen, it's going to look ugly for Julius Randle this series. Donovan Mitchell versus Jalen Brunson will be fun, but I think in this series, Jalen Brunson won't have enough help to win this series. So I got the Cleveland Cavaliers winning this one in 6 games. Then Philadelphia versus the Brooklyn Nets. Let's just be honest. The Brooklyn Nets are a young team. They're not that good. And although they're a fun team to watch, who is guarding Joel Embiid? The Philadelphia 76ers have been pretty good this season, so I got them in 5 games. I think the Nets can pull off one game, and Mikal Bridges might go off against the Philadelphia 76ers. But overall, yeah, I think the 76ers will win the series. Then the Hawks versus the Boston Celtics. Now, although the Hawks have been hot, they've been on fire, want to play a game against the Miami Heat, I'm gonna have to go with the Boston Celtics. Sorry, Hawks fans, the Boston Celtics are just too good. I mean, they have Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown. Don't overthink it. It's pretty obvious. In 5 games, I think Trae Young pulls out a game, and they have some pretty good rebounding. Now let's go back to the Western Conference. The Denver Nuggets versus the Phoenix Suns. This is going to be a pretty good matchup. However, I think it's going to be tough for the Denver Nuggets. A guy like Nikola Jokic, he's not the best defensively. Now, look, I think people overreact and say he's a terrible defender. I think he's an okay defender. But when it comes to having guards on him, playing offense on him, it's going to be tough. Guys like CP3 are going to cook him. Guys like Devin Booker are going to cook him. They're going to force mismatches for Nikola Jokic, and that's going to be tough. I think Denver Nuggets defense is not good enough. Bruce Brown, he's going to be a good matchup for Kevin Durant. But then you also got Jamal Murray, who's also not good defensively. They really need him to be Bubba Murray, and let's be honest, that's not happening. Suns in 6 games. Then the Golden State Warriors versus the Memphis Grizzlies. Guys, I know the Golden State Warriors are experienced, but not every year is the same for the Golden State Warriors. I know with Steve Kerr, they won every single Western Conference series. But let's pump the brakes here right now because the Golden State Warriors are a terrible road team. 11 and 30 on the road. They're not the Kings. You know, the Memphis Grizzlies are not the Kings. They're really good on the defensive side of the ball. They won't have like any trouble with guys like Kevon Looney because they have Jaren Jackson Jr. And the Warriors are not really a big team, so the absence of Steven Adams would not be too crucial for the Memphis Grizzlies. So I don't think anyone should overthink this. I think the Golden State Warriors are a bit overrated. They're not a contender this season. They're having an off season, and it's really the circle of life. You cannot be good forever. So the Grizzlies are winning the series in 6 games. Then you have the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland Cavaliers have a really good defense. They're actually one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. They have Evan Mobley. They have Jared Allen. Those guys can guard Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Isaac Okoro is also a good defender. We cannot forget though that the Bucks team is very, very deep, and the Cleveland Cavaliers don't have a good bench. They have an inconsistent Karis LeVert, which I don't think will work out in the series. Then the wing position, they have Jetty Osman, they have Isaac Okoro, Lamar Stevens. No, that's not working out. Milwaukee in 6 games. Now, this is a very tough series to predict. Philadelphia versus the Boston Celtics. In my opinion, the problem with the Philadelphia 76ers is Doc Rivers, the adjustments he'll be able to make. I think Embiid is going to have a terrific series against the Boston Celtics, though. And as long as Harden's healthy, he'll probably be effective. Then they have Tyrese Maxey. I think the Philadelphia 76ers have a chance at any other team but the Boston Celtics. But the Celtics have a 3-1 series against the Philadelphia 76ers in the regular season. So, since they have that advantage in the regular season too, I think the Boston Celtics are too deep. I got the Celtics in 6 games, and it just pains me because I'm a Harden fan. But I gotta be honest with myself. Celtics in 6. Then you have Milwaukee versus Boston. We'll get to that later. First, Phoenix versus Memphis. Now, Memphis is gonna have a tough time without Steven Adams because DeAndre Ayton. I think he'll be playing great. I think this team has way too much firepower. I think the Phoenix Suns are just a great team, and let's just not overthink this. They're 8-0 with Kevin Durant. Phoenix Suns are winning the series in 6 games. And then you got Milwaukee versus the Boston Celtics. Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown, they are great players. And I think Jason Tatum will play good this playoffs. They have one of the best benches in the league, probably the best bench in the league. Everyone can play defense. They got multiple defenders who can guard Giannis Antetokounmpo. But on the other end, you have the Milwaukee Bucks. They also have a great bench. They have Drew Holiday and Brooke Lopez having, their best seasons of their career. And then you have Chris Middleton, who's starting to get back into a groove, averaging 18 points per game. So I think this team is also very deep. And at the end of the day, I think Giannis is the best player in this series, and he's gonna pull through and win this series in six or in 7 games. Let's say it's in 7 games. Then you have Phoenix versus Milwaukee 2.0. This is going to be an absolutely amazing finals. It's going to be KD versus Giannis Antetokounmpo. And it's different from the last time these teams faced because Kevin Durant is absolutely amazing in the NBA playoffs. Barring any injuries, this Phoenix Suns team will be very good. But I'm concerned because you have CP3. How good is he? He's very old. Then you have their supporting cast. Torrey Craig, guys like Josh Okogie, Terrence Ross. Those guys need to be very good. They gotta hit their open 3-point shots. But I can rely on the Milwaukee Bucks. The only thing that I'm concerned about is their rotations, how Mike Budenholzer is gonna put their rotation. But that's fairly simple. I think Milwaukee Bucks will win the series. But since the Suns have Kevin Durant, this one's going to 7 games. This is gonna be a tough series. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and peace out, my friends.